You were born poor. Maybe your parents struggled to pay rent. Maybe you grew up watching them work 3 jobs and still come up short. Maybe you wore hand-me-down clothes and ate the same cheap meals every day. That was not your fault. You didn't choose your starting point. But here's the truth that will either offend you or set you free. If you die poor, that is your fault. This is the story of a man who refused to let his birthplace become his burial ground. And if you're ready to stop making excuses and start making moves, stay with me until the end, because this might be the wake-up call that changes everything. In a struggling neighborhood on the edge of a mid-sized American city, there lived a 28-year-old man named Andre. Andre worked as a warehouse stock clerk, making $14 an hour. He lived in the same subsidized housing project where he grew up. Building C, Unit 204. The same cracked walls, the same broken elevator, the same view of the parking lot where his father's car once sat before it was repossessed. His mother, Maria, had raised him alone after his father left when Andre was 7. She worked as a hotel housekeeper for 22 years, her hands permanently rough from chemicals and labor. She never made more than $12 an hour. She never owned a home. She died at 56 with $847 in her bank account. Andre was at her funeral 6 months ago. As he stood over her casket, wearing a borrowed suit because he couldn't afford one, he made a silent promise. "Mom, I'll do better. I'll break this cycle." But 6 months later, nothing had changed. Andre still lived paycheck to paycheck, still bought groceries with the same EBT card his mother used. Still took the same bus route to the same dead-end job, still watched his high school friends, the ones who went to college, post pictures of their new homes, their promotions, their vacations. And deep down, Andre believed a lie that millions of people believe. I'm poor because I was born poor. The system is rigged. People like me don't get ahead. Every morning as he stocked shelves in the warehouse, he would think, "What's the point? I'm already 28. No degree, no connections, no inheritance, nothing. This is just how it is for people like us." His co-workers felt the same. During lunch breaks, they'd sit around complaining about rent prices, about how the rich get richer, about how opportunities only come to people who already have money. Andre nodded along. It felt true. It felt like the only explanation. Because here's the thing about blaming your circumstances. It's comfortable. If your poverty is someone else's fault, your parents, the government, the economy, the system, then you don't have to take responsibility. You don't have to change. You can just stay where you are and feel justified about it. Andre had stayed comfortable for 28 years, but comfort was about to be shattered. One cold Tuesday in November, Andre's life hit a breaking point. He received an eviction notice 3 months behind on rent. The landlord had been patient, but patience has limits. Andre had 30 days to pay $2,400 or vacate, and he sat on his couch staring at the paper, his mind racing. Where would he go? Back to sleeping on a friend's couch like he did at 19. Live in his car? He didn't even have a car. That night, desperate, he called his uncle, his mother's older brother, Robert. Robert had left the neighborhood 25 years ago and never looked back. He owned a small construction business now. The family rarely saw him. Some said he thought he was too good for them now. Andre swallowed his pride and asked for a loan, just $2,400. He'd pay it back. There was a long silence on the phone. Then Robert's voice, calm but firm. "Andre, I'm not giving you money." Andre felt anger rise in his chest. "So you're rich now and you can't help family. I'm not rich. I'm comfortable because I made different choices than everyone else in our family. And giving you money won't help you. It'll just delay the inevitable." What's that supposed to mean? It means this. You're 28 years old, and you're living the exact same life your mother lived, the exact same life your grandmother lived. You're following a script that's been handed down for 3 generations, and you're mad at me because I won't fund the next chapter of that script. Andre's jaw clenched. I didn't choose to be born poor. No, you didn't, Robert said. And that's not your fault, but you're choosing to stay poor, and that is your fault. The words hit like a slap. Andre, listen to me. I grew up in the same project you're in right now. Same building. I wore the same second-hand clothes, and I ate the same food stamp meals. I watched our mother work herself to death, too. But you know what I did differently? I decided that where I started wasn't where I'd finish. It's easy for you to say that now. It wasn't easy. Robert's voice cracked with emotion. I worked 2 jobs and went to community college at night for 4 years. I lived on ramen noodles and walked 2 miles to save bus fare. I had no social life for half a decade. Everyone in the family called me crazy, said I was wasting my time. But I didn't care because I knew something they didn't. What? That being born in poverty is not a life sentence. It's a starting line, and whether you finish rich or poor is entirely up to the choices you make every single day from this point forward. Andre sat in silence, the phone pressed to his ear, tears streaming down his face. "I'll make you a deal," Robert continued. "I won't give you money, but I'll give you something better." I'll give you a chance. Meet me at my office Saturday morning at 7 a.m. If you show up, I'll show you exactly how I went from where you are to where I am. If you don't show up, don't call me again asking for handouts. This is your choice. Your mother made hers. Now make yours. The line went dead. Andre sat in the dark apartment, the eviction notice in one hand, his phone in the other. For the first time in his life, he understood no one was coming to save him. Not the government, not family, not luck. If his life was going to change, he had to change it. And that terrified him because it meant he had no more excuses. Saturday morning, 6:58 a.m., Andre stood outside his uncle's construction office, hands in his pockets, breath visible in the cold air. Part of him wanted to turn around, but a bigger part of him knew this was the fork in the road. He knocked. Robert opened the door, coffee in hand, surprise and approval on his face. "You came?" "I came." They sat across from each other in the small office. Robert pulled out a whiteboard and drew 2 arrows. Andre, every person born into poverty stands at a crossroads. These 2 arrows represent 2 paths. He wrote above the first arrow, blame. He wrote above the second arrow, build. Path 1 is blame. This is where most people stay their entire lives. They say, "I'm poor because my parents were poor. I didn't get opportunities. Oh, the system is against me. Rich people have it easy. I'll never get ahead." Robert looked at Andre directly. Every single one of those statements might be partially true, but here's what they all have in common. They make you a victim, and victims don't build wealth. They wait for someone to rescue them, and no one ever comes. Andre shifted uncomfortably. He'd said all those things. Path 2 is build. This is the path I took, and it's harder, much harder, because it requires you to accept a brutal truth. You are 100% responsible for your future, even though you were 0% responsible for your past. He wrote 3 principles on the board. Principle 1, your birth is your starting point, not your ceiling. Andre, being born poor means you start the race further back than others. That's not fair, but life isn't fair. The question isn't, is it fair? The question is, what are you going to do about it? Principle 2, wealth is built through 3 currencies. Robert drew 3 circles. Currency 1, time. Poor people trade time for money, hourly wages. Rich people buy other people's time. Middle-class people invest time in skills that increase their value. For 5 years, I traded my time for education and skill building, not beer and TV. Currency 2, decisions. Every single day, you make decisions that either build wealth or keep you poor. Tacantua. Buying lottery tickets. Poor decision. Learning to code for free on YouTube, wealth decision. Complaining with coworkers, poor decision. Or reading business books on the bus, wealth decision. Currency 3, identity. This is the most important. You can't build wealth if you still identify as a poor person trying to get rich. You have to shift your identity to a wealthy person in training. Your mother identified as a housekeeper her whole life. I identified as a business owner when I was still mopping floors. Your identity determines your actions. Andre absorbed this, his mind racing. So what do I do? He asked. I'm facing eviction in 30 days. Robert leaned forward. Here's what you're going to do. I'm going to offer you a job, labor on my construction sites. It pays $18 an hour, $4 more than you make now. You'll work 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. 6 days a week. That's only $720 more a month. I'm not done. From 4 p.m. to 9 p.m., 5 nights a week, you're going to learn. Asteri. Not watch TV, not scroll your phone, learn. I don't care what. Plumbing, electrical, project management, business software, sales. Pick a skill that increases your income potential and become obsessed with it. For how long? 2 years minimum. In 2 years, if you do this, you won't recognize your life. You'll either be running crews for me at $65,000 a year, or you'll have started your own business, or you'll have transitioned into a skilled trade making 6 figures. Robert stood up and extended his hand. But here's the deal. I don't accept excuses. No, I'm tired. No, it's too hard. No, I don't feel like it. You commit to this path for 2 years, or you go back to path 1 and stay there forever. What's it going to be? Andre looked at his uncle's hand. This was the moment, the choice, the fork in the road. He stood up and shook his hand. I'm in. The first 3 months nearly broke him. Andre woke up at 4:45 a.m. every day, worked construction sites until 300 p.m., exhausting physical labor that left his body aching. Then, instead of going home to collapse, he went to the public library. From 400 p.m. to 9 p.m., 5 nights a week, he taught himself project management software, construction estimating, and business operations through free online courses. His old friends thought he was crazy. IRD, bro, you're working yourself to death for what? You're still in the projects. Not for long, Andre would say. By month 6, Tare had saved $4,000, the first real savings of his life. He paid off the back rent. He bought work boots that didn't have holes. He felt something he'd never felt before. Momentum. Robert noticed his dedication. You're learning faster than anyone I've trained. Shutter, I'm putting you in charge of a small crew next month. By the end of year 1, Andre was managing 3-person crews. His pay had increased to $24 an hour. He'd completed 6 professional certifications. He'd moved out of the projects into a modest 1-bedroom apartment he could actually afford. But more importantly, something internal had shifted. He no longer saw himself as Andre from the projects. He saw himself as Andre, the project manager in training. His friends were still the same, his circumstances were similar, but his identity had changed. And identity determines action. 18 months in, Andre faced a test. His old warehouse job called. They were short-staffed and offered him supervisor position. $22 an hour, easier work, more respect. All he had to do was quit the construction grind and come back. The old Andre would have taken it. Comfortable, familiar, easier. The new Andre said, "Thanks, but I'm building something bigger." 22 months into his journey, Robert pulled Andre aside. "I'm opening a second location. I need someone to run it. Full operations, salary $68,000 plus profit share. You interested?" Andre's eyes widened. $68,000. 4 years ago, his mother never made more than $25,000 in her best year. "Yes," he said, his voice steady. "I'm ready." 6 months into running the second location, Andre had increased revenue by 34% through better project management, hired and trained a crew of 8, earned 73 odd sao in his first full year, saved $18,000 in an emergency fund, started a Roth IRA, something no one in his family had ever heard of. But the most powerful moment came when he drove back to his old neighborhood to pick up some documents. He parked outside Building C, Unit 204, his old apartment. A young kid, maybe 19, was sitting on the steps looking defeated. Andre walked up to him. "You okay, man?" The kid shrugged. "Just another day in hell, you know. Born poor, undie poor." That's how it goes for people like us. Andre sat down next to him. "Let me tell you something. 3 years ago, I sat on these same steps thinking the same thing. And then I made a choice." He told the kid his story, all of it. The eviction notice, the uncle's challenge, the 2 years of grinding, the transformation. The kid listened, eyes wide. "You really from here?" "Building C, Unit 204, 28 years, and you got out?" Andre smiled. "I didn't get out. I built out. And you can, too." But first, you got to stop waiting for someone to save you and start saving yourself. He gave the kid Robert's business card. "If you want to change, call this number Monday morning. Show up ready to work. No excuses." The kid took the card, is staring at it like it was a lottery ticket. Andre stood up, looked at his old apartment one last time, and walked to his car. He'd broken the cycle. My friend, Andre's story is not just about escaping poverty. It's about accepting the one truth that will either set you free or keep you trapped forever. You are not responsible for the hand you were dealt, but you are responsible for how you play it. Being born into poverty, into a broken family, into a struggling neighborhood, that was not your fault. You didn't choose your parents. You didn't choose your zip code. You didn't choose your starting point. But staying there, that is your choice. Because here's what most people don't understand. Poverty is not just about money. Poverty is a mindset. It's a set of beliefs that says, this is just how life is for people like me. I can't change because I don't have advantages. Rich people are lucky. Poor people are victims. And as long as you believe those lies, you will stay exactly where you are. Every single day, you stand at the same crossroads Andre stood at. Path 1, blame. You can keep blaming your parents, the economy, the system, your circumstances. You can stay comfortable in victimhood. You can collect sympathy from people who are just as stuck as you are. And you can die exactly where you started, with a lifetime of excuses about why it wasn't your fault. Path 2. Build. You can accept brutal responsibility. You can say, I didn't choose my start, but I will choose my finish. You can trade your evenings for education. You can sacrifice comfort for growth. You can endure years of grinding while others party, and you can build a life your children won't have to escape from. So here's my question for you right now, in this moment. Which path are you on? Are you blaming, or are you building? If you're ready to build, here's what you do starting today. Step 1. Shift your identity. Stop saying, I'm poor. Start saying, I'm building wealth. Your words create your reality. Change your language. Change your life. Step 2. Audit your time for the next week. Track every hour. How many hours did you trade for money? How many for skill building? How many for entertainment? The truth will shock you. Then adjust. Trade TV time for learning time. A 1 hour a day equals 365 hours a year, equals a whole new skill set. Step 3. Pick one skill and commit, not 10 skills. 1. Something that increases your income potential. Plumbing, coding, sales, project management, electrical, graphic design. YouTube has free courses on everything. Pick one, master it in 12 to 24 months, then leverage it. I can't promise you'll be a millionaire in 2 years. I can't promise it'll be easy, but I can promise this. If you commit to building instead of blaming for the next 2 years, your life will not look the same. you will not be the same. And 5 years from now, when someone asks you how you did it, you'll say the same thing Andre said. I stopped waiting for life to get easier and started getting better at life. If you're done making excuses and ready to make moves, prove it right now. Hit that like button as your commitment to Path 2. Build. Thank you for being part of today's story. Remember, every story you hear is a new step on your journey to mastering English. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to Read and Rise English. Together, let's learn, grow, and rise. Until next time, keep reading and keep rising.